Hi, my name is David Jimenez, and I'm formerly a returning citizen. I got incarcerated in July 7th of 1989. I didn't return home until 1998. I ended up going back in 99 for 4 more years, and I was heavily involved in gangs. My gangs were that I was involved in was Insane Spanish Cobras. I migrated from Chicago, Illinois to Detroit. Came to here in the 80s and joined forces with this other gang called the Insane Spanish Cobras. My life took a real big bad turn. I quickly worked up into the ranks. I ended up being second lieutenant of my gang. Ended up, because of my gang, getting locked up for that amount of time for 15 years total. I did like 13 and a half, almost 14 years total. I returned to the streets in 2001, which I thought I knew the answer and knew what to do, but I was still kind of lost. I got heavily involved in drugs and alcohol, and I thought, I thought I was done with all this, and sure enough, I wasn't. I was still lost in how to even conduct myself as a productive citizen out here in the community. Later on down the road in 2005, I got convicted for felonious assault. Still didn't learn my lesson. I did a year in the county jail. The judge shown a little bit of leniency towards me. Gave me a break and told me I didn't deserve to go back to prison. So I did a year in the county jail. And around 2005, I met an organization called Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation. Great organization. They had a gang program. They helped gang members, try to get out of the gang and stuff like that. So I was able to join forces with them, and I started working with them. They started working with me, and I was a real knucklehead. I was hard-headed. I didn't understand what it was to even, to trust anyone again, because I had so much trust in my gang members, and they were my homeboys, and that's what I thought was my family. So when I got involved with DHDC, Angela Reyes took me up underneath her wing, and she guided me. She a great mentor, a great lady. I met her for the very first time, and and she's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm here to do community service." And she was like, "Again?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I was in a back room doing some community service, actually doing some repairing stuff that she asked me to do. And it was time to go home. And she's like, "Hey Dave, it's time to go home. We're locking up the building." And after that, I says, "I'm already home." I screamed out, She turned to me, and that moment in time, she says, "You're ready to change. I can feel it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm tired. I'm very tired. I can't do this anymore." So ended up about a couple months later, she called me up and gave me a job, a part-time job. She says, I just need you to fix things around here. Next thing you know it, I started fixing things, and let alone I didn't know I was fixing myself, you know, with the self-therapy that she was putting on me. And it exploded, you know. I finally got a taste of what was good, you know, knowing what was that cup of bad that I was always drinking, you know. Finally, she gave me a breath, you know, she gave me that clean water to drink, you know. Next thing you know it, I started working, and by the end of that year, I ended up being the building manager. And it was 12 years later after that. I've been successful. I worked there for 12 years. I got donations. I did everything I could for, you know, for the kids. I did open talks. I did gang 101s. I've trained police officers, the federal building, the FBI, tobacco, firearms. We went to very many schools here in the Southwest District, you know, Western, CCA, Beard, even, you know, teaching the little ones about the lookouts, you know, and how to, you know, them growing up, the signs and the symbols and everything that, you know, someone needs to know about the gang life. And that's how I ended up getting in serious trouble, you know. Now being successful in a way that I know how, I've been carrying out the journey that I know that I need to do. You know, other people have struggled, you know, and I thought about it, you know. And one day we was at the organization. They said, Dave, we got this doctor. His name is Dr. Seeger. He removes tattoos. You know, and he just shot us an email. I want you to meet him and this and that. It's like, yeah, okay, you know, this is too good to be true. They're gonna take tattoos off now, you know. About 12 years later back, you know, we was doing tattoo cover-ups, you know, because that was the way that organization was structured. And laser removal wasn't even effective at that time, wasn't even, you know, thought of. So, true enough, Dr. Seeger showed up. We sat in a room. He's like, "Hey, Dave, how would you like them tattoos removed from your hands and your neck, and you know, all these gang symbols that hinder you from getting a job and actually, you know, people looking at you in a funny way, you know?" I said, "Is it possible?" He says, "I'm a doctor. It is possible." So we got the ball rolling. He showed up. We ended up, I was the first guy to go through it. And I sat back and got my tattoos removed. They're gone, every last one of them. I'm blessed. I wash my hands every day, and I thank that man for not having that on my body anymore. It's a new beginning. You know, it's something that can empower you, can take you to the next level. You know, people won't have to look at you like that anymore and give you that, you know, you know, wondering where he's, you know, what he's in. You know, it helps with interviews and job purposes and job placements and stuff like that. So after I got pretty much cleaned up, I thought about it, you know. So we opposed and brought Mr. Seeger back and said, "Hey, we want to start a program, you know, to help returning citizens, people that come out from prisons or anybody out in the local area that made a mistake in their lives and want to change it, you know, for job purposes." He said, "Okay," you know, and the program took off, and they were coming to the facility every couple of months, and we would cycle at least about 100 to 150, you know, from gang members on to anybody that had an issue with a tattoo. Never thought in the world that we would end up getting a machine donated. So another doctor from the Boxford Hospital, his name is Dr. Seeger too as well, there's two of them. So his team of people donated the machine, you know, which is, you know, roughly around $30,000 or a little more, and it's at the location. So I was able to help out in that area to set foot and say, hey, you know what? We need that permanent. We need it here. And, you know, I know. And I did my research a little bit about Homeboy's industry and what they did, you know, and how Father Boyle, you know, got the program started. So I was like, you know what? We need that. You know, we need that here in Detroit, because there's a lot of people that made mistakes, you know, that are still paying for them, you know, because it's written on their body. So now it's been a very successful program. It's continuing on. It's going on its 8th year. So I'm blessed. I'm happy that everybody's getting their lives changed and be able to move on and don't have to worry about looking at their, you know, body and seeing that the markings that affect them from, you know, job purposes or anything, you know, or even being with your significant other, you know, that she might not even like, you know. So during that journey, I learned the task of how to do a little marketing and how to interact with corporate sponsors and stuff like that, and getting donations and stuff like that for the kids, and, you know, for the organization to, you know, retain some overhead and all that. And I've been very successful at it, and you know, I can't wait to go back. You know, I miss it. You know, sometimes I feel it. You know, I mean, I wish they'd pick up the phone and call as soon as possible. But it's okay if you know, one door closes, another one opens. I understand, you know, that this is not my way, this is God's way. And the only way I can do this is follow that path, you know. What I would say to others, you know, that, you know, don't be afraid. You can be anybody you want to be. You know, reach for the stars, reach for your goals. Don't let nobody hinder you saying that, you know, you ain't nobody. You know, if I heard that all my life, you know, you ain't gonna be nobody. You know, but somebody thought of me, and somebody said, you know, you are somebody. You know, you are important to our community. Right now I live in the neighborhood, and it's great. You know, like I said, you know, homeboys roll by on the porch. I'm sitting on the porch. They know what kind of job I had, or I have anyways, and I will still continue the work, whether I'm there or not. You know, I will find another place to do this, you know, and that is the greatest joy for me. You know, that's my sobriety. You know, that's my serenity, and, you know, to help others and to reach out and say, you know what, and they come back and they say, hey Dave, look man, I changed my life, you know, it was all because of you, you know, and knowing that, you can't, you know, money can't buy that, you know, what I say to others, you know, I mean, it comes from here. It doesn't come from, you know, just out the blue. You know, it comes from my heart. I try to speak from the heart and try to practice that, you know, because the truth of the matter is, if we can't give you the truth, you know, I can't give you nothing. If I can't give you the truth, you know, someone helped me that way, and I just show the same way that person helped me. You know, I try not to shut the door at no one. You know, when I was working there, helping the homeless and, you know, doing great things for the community, and going to Lansing and coming back and fighting for the water and doing all these great activities that I have never even experienced in my whole life. You know, I had the pleasure of working with Councilor Ayers, Brenda Jones, all the city council members, Mayor Duggan, Dave Bing. I've been around for a minute and being around these public figures. And how can someone like me get that close? You know, it's impossible. You know, whoa, how can an ex-criminal or ex-convict, per se, they say to us, you know, how can they get so close to that person? You know, well, you can't. It's when you change who you are, and that's what makes it. You know, God will put you in that situation to make it better for you, to show you that you're not that person anymore. You know, mistakes were made. You know, I did multiple B&Es. You know, I broke into multiple houses, businesses. You know, I had a little B&E sting going on. And, that's why I got incarcerated. When I did get incarcerated for 5 to 10 years, I escaped from prison and left from there. You know, I was just a big old bowl of problems, you know, and the MDOC knew that, you know, I'll be back. All the correction officers knew who I was. They all knew that, you know, well, there goes Dope Boy, you know, here he come, you know, about to tear up something, you know. And we had gang wars in there and all that. I'm surprised that I came out, you know, alive, but, you know, there's a reason why I'm here, and this is the reason why I have to tell this story. You know, you guys and many multiple comrades, I should say, that were incarcerated with me, you know, did well for themselves, and I never wanted nothing more other than to do right and how to do it. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I met people along the way that could actually scope me and shave me up and tell me what's wrong with me and sit down and counsel me. And it was a hard thing to do because I was just I was a wild one and I didn't care to hear it, you know. And now I'm more, you know, I'm more calmed down. I'm a family man. You know, I have 4 girls and 1 boy. It's great. The life I'm living, you know, I wouldn't expect anything more. You know, I live a good life, and I'm in the hood. And I just ask that everyone, you know, to just give yourself a chance. That's what's up, you know. Give yourself that chance to grow and reach out. You know, reach out to organizations that are going to help you. There's plenty of help out here, and we just fail to look for it, you know, because we're always told from other people that, oh, there's nothing for you, you know, there's nothing for you. You know, I even had parole officers tell me, you ain't gonna make it, not with this jacket, you know, or, you know, not with this record, you know. It's like, I'm gonna show you better, you know, and I did. And that was my last probation officer. She was really hard on me, and I told her, I says, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it. So every week I brought something positive to her, you know, a newspaper clipping of me being on the news or on the newspaper, and then ended up showing me on the news about tattoo removal and stuff like that. You know, I started showering her with all this goodness, you know, and after that she transferred me to another probation officer because she couldn't take it. So the other probation officer says, you know, you're almost done paying your fines, so go ahead and pay your fines. Let's see if we can get you out probation early of being all the work that I've already put in and trying to change my life around. I think the hardest thing in life was denouncing my gang in prison. You know, I had a little bounty over my head then, you know. I got into a couple little run-ins, you know, but I was blessed to survive that, you know. And after that, that's when things started changing, you know. And when I denounced my gang inside, it was really difficult, you know, to function, you know, because now people are thinking you in a different way, you know. So, and I was blessed that I know that I did enough in my world, you know, that helped me get through that. So, I mean, the greatest thing that I ask, you know, me and God, you know, is help me continue on this journey, you know, with others. And that's really it.